Good morning, students. How are you all? All are okay? Good. Are you learning your daily lessons? Read them and try to understand them and learn them. Okay? Don't keep on postponing the learnings. Daily lessons you must learn. Okay? Good. So, this SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India, you might have read its objectives and functions, isn't it? So it is the board that regulates the functions of all stock exchanges and providing some guidelines for the stock exchanges and intermediaries we have learned, isn't it? So today we will learn the powers of SEBI. Okay, powers of SEBI. What are the powers of SEBI? There are 6 powers given. So all that we have learned in the functions and objectives only will be coming here also. Okay, interrelated. Power to do this one. That may be its function. Okay, that may be their objective. So it is interrelated. So the first power, power to powers relating to stock exchanges and intermediaries. Powers relating to stock exchanges and intermediaries. Intermediaries, we know all the organizations that maybe the brokers, the members, then other maybe the merchant bankers, then underwriters. Okay, all these are called the intermediaries. So relating powers relating to stock exchanges and intermediaries. What power it has? Okay, then all these people, those who are dealing with the securities, okay, it has the powers towards them, and it can ask information. It can ask information from the stock exchanges and these intermediaries. It can ask information or details, or it can ask inquiry. Okay, do inquiry. That is called asking information from the stock exchanges and intermediaries regarding the business transactions. Regarding any business transactions, what they do, any business transaction, not any private, okay, any business transactions for inspection, because we have learned it's one of the functions, isn't it? So at the time of inspection, it has the right, it has the power to ask information to the stock exchanges and the intermediaries regarding any business transactions. Okay, that's all very simple. First, it has the power to ask information from this stock exchanges and intermediaries regarding any business transactions for inspection or for any other purpose also. Okay, or any other purpose. Any complaint if they have received, for anything it has the right to ask information. They have to provide, if they ask any information, submit the financial statements, they must do. Okay, so any information, what has done, any quarrel, any cheating or any malpractice done in the buying and selling, trading of securities, okay, or in the floor, any brokers have cheated any investors, anything, if they ask information, they must provide them. Then, power to impose monetary penalties. Power to impose monetary penalties. Fine, isn't it? That is called. Fine only, penalties. So if it finds any fault, isn't it? It has the right to impose penalties in monetary value. Okay. So it is empowered to impose monetary penalties on the capital markets. That means the capital markets include stock exchanges. They have given another word only. Okay. Capital markets and intermediaries and other participants for any violations. For any violations. violating the law. Okay, that is called violations. Then even they can do suspension of their registration. They have the right to impose suspension. We say no, he is suspended. That is suspension their registration. Whose registration? Maybe the stock exchanges or any intermediaries. Intermediaries in the sense, I have told you, all the brokers or any self-regulatory organizations. Yesterday we studied. Then any merchant bankers, okay, their registration may be suspended, somewhat like cancelled, isn't it, for a short period. That you know, isn't it? Suspension for not for the long period, for a short period. For a short period. Okay. It has the SEBI is empowered to impose monetary penalties. Okay, SEBI has the power to impose monetary penalties on capital markets or stock exchanges and intermediaries for any violation of the law. Okay, then it can even impose suspension of their registration for a short period. Understood? Now the third power to initiate actions in functions assigned. Power to initiate actions. It can take action, start the action in functions assigned. So the same thing you have to write. Okay, that points you should keep in mind. So now SEBI has the power to initiate actions against the stock exchanges in functions assigned. You can write. Okay. Then example we can say, it can issue guidelines to different intermediaries. Okay, that we have studied, isn't it? It has the right to give guidelines to different intermediaries. They are providing the guidelines, isn't it? Or it can introduce specific rules. It can introduce some new rules. Introduce special rules. Any specific rules for what? For the protection of investors. For the protection of investors. Understood now? So SEBI has the power to initiate any actions in the functions assigned. Already the function is what? It can provide the guidelines to different intermediaries, isn't it? So the same thing it can do. That is one of the function, isn't it? So it can start the action. It can start the action of that providing functions that is assigned for the SEBI. Okay, all these are the functions we have studied, isn't it? The guidelines, to provide guidelines for different intermediaries and the stock exchanges, that it can start doing, that can provide them. Okay, what it is only in the functions it is mentioned, but it can start that action. And also it can introduce some separate rules in order to protect the investors. Investors means all the people, those who buy and sell the shares in the stock exchanges. So the next one is power to regulate insider trading. Power to regulate insider trading. This also we have studied in both objectives and in the functions, isn't it? That it has the power. Power to regulate insider trading. So that your sentence you have to write. SEBI has the power to regulate insider trading or it can regulate the functions of merchant bankers. Who the merchant bankers also? Who? Merchant bankers, those who get the shares in their hands and they will sell that one to the public. Okay, they are called the merchant bankers. So they may not know, because the merchant bankers know how the particular company is earning profit. So they know very well, within a short period of time they are going to earn a heavy profit. Okay, a lot of profit they are going to earn. Knowing this matter, they may not purchase the most of the shares on their own. For this purpose only they are regulating the insider trading. They are barring, not regulate, barring. They may not do insider trading. Okay, only all the trading must be done by the public. Okay, so SEBI has the power to regulate insider trading, or it can regulate the functions of merchant bankers. Okay, the next point. Powers under Securities Contracts Act. Powers under Securities Contract Act, that you have studied, isn't it? Securities Contracts Act 1956. Now, this act is also providing some powers for the SEBI. What are the that powers they are getting? Okay, who is providing that one? Now, they have to regulate all the stock exchanges, isn't it? So for this sake, now Ministry of Finance Minister, isn't it? So Ministry of Finance, central government's ministry, it has issued one notification on 13th September 1994. So it has delegated many powers to SEBI. Okay, to SEBI. And as per this act, Securities Contract Act 1956. Okay, Securities Contract, that Regulation Act also it is called. Okay, then what is the right it is giving? What it is empowered? Okay, that SEBI is also empowered by the ministry to nominate, that is the power it has got. Okay, to nominate three members in the governing body of every stock exchange. That means the management. So it can nominate 3 members. Understood? So SEBI has got that power to nominate 3 members in the governing body of the stock exchange. So other members, maybe 5 members I think. So 3 members can be nominated by the SEBI. Okay, but that power only, this power only it has got from the Ministry of Finance on a notification in the Gazette 13th September 1994. This is the power given to SEBI. What is that power? To nominate 3 members in the governing body of the stock exchange. Then the last power is power to regulate business of stock exchanges. That is the main thing, isn't it? Power to regulate the business of stock exchanges. Okay. SEBI has the power. You have to write each and everything will start like that. Okay, SEBI has the power. Otherwise, SEBI is empowered, or SEBI has the power to. Okay, otherwise SEBI is empowered to regulate the business of stock exchanges, okay, then intermediaries, that is what we are learning from the beginning, isn't it? Intermediaries, then these two people, they are associated with the securities market, okay, they are associated with the securities market. What is the securities market? Stock exchanges, okay, or the stock exchanges. Then this intermediary is not any other intermediaries, those who buy and sell the textiles, things, they are intermediaries associated with the securities market, then and mutual funds. Mutual funds, then it can regulate the fraudulent and unfair practices, okay, fraudulent and unfair practices. Any fraud, or it is not just, okay, unjust, that is unfair practices relating to securities, okay, relating to securities. And regulation of acquisition of shares. What is acquisition? Purchase of shares. Actually it should come acquisition of that companies, okay, acquisition of companies and takeovers, merger and amalgamation, okay, that is called takeover. We studied yesterday that one, acquisition and that merger and amalgamation. They, one company may purchase another company, okay, that is takeovers of companies. Understood? So that is the last point. SEBI is empowered to regulate the business of stock exchanges, then intermediaries associated with the securities market and mutual funds, then any fraudulent and unfair practices relating to securities, and regulation of, okay, acquisition of shares and takeovers of companies. All these must be regulated, okay. If any company is going to be purchased by another company, that is called acquisition of share, okay, then takeover, one company will be amalgamated, joined together, okay, all these are these must be regulated by SEBI, okay. That is the last part. Now we will see the next heading, dematerialization. Have you heard this word? You have never heard, isn't it? Dematerialization, it is regarding the shares. Here one new thing introduced in India or in the world, okay, demat account. We say we have account in the bank, isn't it? Fixed deposit account or savings deposit account or current deposit account we have. What is this dematerialization? What is demat account? It is related to, that means related to share. That is very clear, isn't it? Share. When we purchase share, what we get? We get a share certificate, isn't it? A paperwork, isn't it? Now this paperwork is destroyed, okay, that paper will be destroyed, and instead of that one electronic card will be given, okay, that electronic card will be given, that is called the demat account, okay, okay. It is a, we can say it is a process, that is what given in the book. I think you all are having your book with you, okay. Dematerialization, that is the one of the 3-mark question, first paragraph. Dematerialization is the process by which physical share certificate, that means the share certificate, are taken back by the company. Who will take this one? By the company or by the registrar. okay, taken back by the company or registrar, and it will be destroyed. Okay, then another electronic form will be given, another one form will be given, so that in that electronic card they will credit their shares, number of shares. Okay, here all these will be done with one department, that is called depository participant. This is what we have learned already in the stock exchange. I told you, depository participant, isn't it? That is what this depository participant, like a bank. Okay, one, no, they are working, one department is not a department, like a bank it is working. Even the bank, one department only is called a depository participant. Even if you go in State Bank of India, there it is given, okay, how to apply for this demat account, and what you have to provide, what are the documents we need to submit along with the application form. That will be given in the next class. Okay, now we will learn the benefits of this dematerialization. Okay, here we will learn, along with this dematerialization, we will learn its benefits along. Then next class we will learn how to apply for the demat account. Then, so what we have to do? We have to give one request, okay, in the bank. We have to give a request that I need to open a demat account. Then the investor, then who is the person? Your investor, isn't it? We have, investor means we have bought many shares. We are not going to deposit money, but we are going to purchase and sell share. For that one only we are applying for this demat account. Then we have to apply for this one, then with the depository participant, that is in short form called DP. Okay, then we need to provide the proof, ID proof, or some documents must be submitted along with the application form. Okay, then what they will do, any purchases, if you purchase shares, they will credit our account. Okay, credit our account. If you sell shares, they will debit our account. Understood? Because the same way, our account, if you deposit money, our bank account, what they do? Bank account, what they will do? If you deposit, they will credit our account. Isn't it? If you withdraw money, then they will debit our account. That means the money is decreasing. In the same way, if you purchase share, it will credit your account. The credit balance will increase. Then if you sell share, they will debit. So the credit balance will get reduced. Okay, have you understood this one? As we do in the bank account with money. Money deposit, they will credit. If you withdraw money, they will debit our account. Okay, here no need to, they will not give any number, separate number. Understand that I think that number will be there, but number of that share certificate number may not be given. Okay, not given, but demat account number will be there. Okay, account number is there, but no number of the distinctive number of the share is not mentioned. Okay, or we can purchase any number of share. Any number of share can be purchased. I think there was some restriction in the number of shares to be purchased in the that paper form, okay, certificate form. But here there is no restriction. Any number of shares can be purchased and sold. Then here in India, when this trading has started, this demat account purchasing and selling, when it was that started, commenced first, okay, which exchange has started? That National Stock Exchange has started the first demat account, okay, in December 1996. Here, which company has bought the shares under demat account? Reliance company, okay, Reliance Industries. It was the first company that has got its shares in demat form, around 100 shares. For the first time it has changed its shares into demat form, okay. Then that Bombay Stock Exchange, it has commenced in the year 1997, next year only, okay, after 1 year, in December 1997, the dematerialization of shares has been commenced in the year 1997, December, okay. Okay, they may ask for one word, okay. National Stock Exchange has started its dematerialization account in December 1996. For that one, who has bought the shares? Reliance Industries, okay. So this company has sold, that means this company only has sold its 100 shares to some people, okay. Now we will learn the benefits. Benefits of stock exchange. What is the first benefit? Okay, we have mainly that paperwork is cancelled, isn't it? So all the risk regarding the paperwork or physical certificate, what can be done? We may lose it. That is the first one. Loss. Then someone may steal, isn't it? That is called theft. Or someone can correct, isn't it? 1000 into 10,000 and 10,000 as 1 lakh. They can add 1 zero here and there. They will do forgery. Okay. Or it may be spoiled. Okay. That is called damage. All these can be reduced. All these are the risk. Okay. Risk pertaining to physical certificates like what? Loss, theft, forgery and damage. They are eliminated completely. Do not worry about any of these things. Eliminated completely. Okay, with what? With a demat account. Okay. Okay, when I write, you just listen and you will understand. Okay, the first one, all the risk. Okay, all the risk related to loss, theft, forgery and damage are eliminated completely with a demat account. Then the next benefit, here we do not have more paperwork, isn't it? To write in a paper and stamp them. One person will be writing, another one will be stamping. It will take, sometimes they may not have the stamp paper, okay, or the companies, where the share certificate paper may not be available. So all this paperwork, okay. So here no need of any paperwork, isn't it? So that lack of paperwork enables quicker transactions. Okay, lack of paperwork enables quicker transactions. Within a second they can do. Account only, isn't it? Everything is done through computer. So quicker transactions and high efficiency is also there. Understand? And higher efficiency in trading. Okay? Because there is no paperwork. Everything is through computer with the depository participant like a bank. Okay? So they have that they arrange for quicker transactions. Within 2-3 minutes they will open that account and they will give it in their hands. Okay, then the third one. So here trading has become more convenient. Okay, why? Because there no need to visit any broker. Okay, more convenient, because that ordinary purchase and sell, what we have to do, we have to visit a broker, isn't it? And that is no need. So it is very convenient. How trading has become very convenient, because no need to visit a broker. No need to visit a broker. Brokers, jobbers, we have studied, isn't it? So these people we do not need to visit through online. Everything is done online, isn't it? So it is no need to visit. So it is very convenient for him to buy the share. Okay. Then that merger and amalgamation we studied, isn't it? Merger and amalgamation. At the time, a particular shareholder do not worry about anything. Automatically the shares will be credited because it is online. Okay. Automatically it is credited. Okay. He doesn't need to communicate with anyone. Okay. Each and every company, what are you doing? Oh, nothing to worry about. So all these are done through the depository participant. Automatically it is credited. Okay. Then the fifth benefit, because all these transactions are done through depository participant, isn't it? Like a bank branch. Okay. Depository participant, each trader, no, if you want a trader or an investor, he doesn't need to communicate individually. He do not need to communicate individually with each company, each and every company. Okay, what is their value, and we do not need to see. Okay, the trader, he doesn't need to communicate each and every person, but with the help of the depository participant he can do trading of these securities, as if he doesn't need to visit any broker. Here to no need to visit each and every company also to see their price. Okay, so it is very easy for them to trade. Then another one, there is no need to pay stamp duty for the transfer of certificate. Otherwise, transfer of certificate needs to be stamped, stamp paper or stamp duty should be paid. Okay, transfer of certificate needs the stamp duty, that is not needed here. Understand? No need for stamp duty for transfer of securities. So what does it do? It brings down the cost of transaction. The cost of transaction is becoming less. Okay. Then the seventh point is, now some banks, they allow the holders, demat holders, that is dematerialization account. Okay. These holders, what they are providing? They are providing both in one account. What? Equity and debt instrument. Otherwise, equity and debt instrument are separate. This one share, this one debenture. We know, isn't it? We cannot have, each one is separate one. Okay, debenture certificate and share certificate are separate. But here some banks allowing the holders to have both equity and debt securities in one account. Okay, then the next one. For this purpose, these banks, they allow some dedicated staff, dedicated and that well known. Okay, then customer care officers, how, to help them how to open the demat account, what are the benefits. Okay, then what are the things they have to provide at the time of applying for this demat account. Okay, in all these procedures they will help them. Okay, the bank has provided dedicated and trained customer care officers. They will assist the applicants. Okay, assist them. Then ninth one, he can buy and sell any number of shares. Okay, buy and sell any number of shares. There is no restriction on the purchase. There is no limit. Okay, but for the physical securities, for the paper securities, they have some restriction. But for this one, they do not have any restriction. Any number of shares can be bought and sold. Okay, the last one, this, if anyone, because it is related to bank, isn't it? So as we have if we deposit in fixed deposit in a bank, we can get a loan, isn't it? From the as per the amount of fixed deposit, we can ask for the loan. In the same way here, this demat account also can be kept as the collateral security. Okay, it is kept as a collateral security. We can ask for loan from the bank. Okay, have you understood now all these 10 points? These are the benefits. With this we will stop. I will just mark and give you the question answers. What is demat account? In page number 70, that we have not taken. Okay, demat account. What is meant by dematerialization? What is meant by dematerialization? Here it is in page number 69. Okay, that this one, first paragraph, then this third paragraph, first sentence, then this sentence, this one, that much will do. Okay, 3 mark question. Then what is the power of SEBI under Securities Contract Act? Page number 68. 68. Here, this one, from here till here fully. Okay, function, then powers. Second question. Okay, long answer. Second question, explain the powers of SEBI. Powers of SEBI from here till here. Okay, all these 6 points, powers. Then the next question, what are the benefits of dematerialization? In page number 69, benefits. Okay, from here till here. Okay, all the 10 points. Okay, one point you can write and take. Okay, here these 2 points, here this one up to here. Okay, all these points are easy only. If you read, you will understand. With my explanation, you will understand easily. Okay. Now, after completing the lesson, we will mark all the one word. Okay, students. So, with this, we will wind up today's class. Okay, students. Thank you. Study well.